Hi guys, I hope you're all doing well. It's been a long time since I last spoke to the camera, but I thought that I'm going to come back and I'm going to start trying to do YouTube videos again. I did have a break just because after lockdown, going back into work, into the office, I work in an office, so going back into the office, I just didn't have enough time to sort of, I was always too tired to come home, film videos. Obviously you got to come back, do your makeup, and it is a long process. As some of you may or may not know, if you're watching and you've come from my Instagram, then you will know, but I'm pregnant, so yeah, and that is why you've not seen me for so long. So today in this video, for my first video back, I want to speak about my pregnancy journey so far. So I'm actually pretty much at the end of my pregnancy now. I've only got, I think, about 6.5 weeks until my due date, so I am pretty much fully cooked. But yeah, so it's a little bit late. I'm going to try and remember everything I've been through throughout my pregnancy, which would be my first trimester, second trimester, third trimester. I did ask some questions on my Instagram if there's anything that people may want to know in particular, and I got some questions which I will be going through today, as well as some questions which I would think would maybe be beneficial or interesting to people watching. And if there is anything I do miss, I can always do another one of these videos, or if you want to ask in the comments or message me separately, then I'm more than happy to answer, because I know from my experience that pregnancy is very different to what you hear it being. So like I said, I've got a list of questions which I'm going to go through, and I also have a few little bits as well which I'll speak about during the video. First off, I will do the questions which I was given. I have put them down on a notepad because I just know that I would forget all of the questions if I didn't have them written down somewhere. So if you see me looking down or anything like that, then it is because I am reading off the piece of paper. So to start off easy, we'll start with the first question, which is, how did I find my pregnancy? Obviously I've still got a little bit of time left, so there might still be some things which I could add on to in 6 weeks time, but so far my pregnancy journey, I found it to be, I don't know, it's very like 50-50. Like if you asked me maybe about a month and a half ago, I would say like I hated it. Not hated it, but I would just say that I was struggling quite a bit and I weren't enjoying it, and I thought that it wasn't how people make out pregnancy to be. But that was only because maybe at that time, though, I had 2 weeks where it was just horrible and I was going through everything, and I felt like it just sort of overpowered the whole pregnancy that I'd been through, and I was just like, I can't do this. This is like so draining. That's how I felt. However, overall, like it's literally not been bad. Like when you sit here and sort of reflect back, like if I can't sort of remember things which have happened, then obviously it couldn't have been that bad. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, overall I would say that I've had quite a positive pregnancy journey. There's not been anything which has happened along the way which has sort of, you know, I've been very lucky that everything's been okay with the baby and it's been okay with me so far. Okay, second question, I feel like this is a good one. Was it planned / am I happy? No, it wasn't planned. It was sort of one of those things, like if it happened, we would both be happy. We would both, obviously, we knew that we would keep the baby and we knew that we would support it, but we weren't trying for a baby. Yeah, it was just one of those, if it happened, it happened. But I was still shocked. I don't know why. Because yeah, I wasn't on any contraception or anything like that, but I hadn't been for about a year, and just to put in to sort of circumstances, but yeah, I wasn't on any contraception for about a year. So I think after that amount of time, you just sort of like think you're immune. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just think, yeah, it's not going to happen. But yeah, obviously it happened. We're both really excited and happy about it. But yeah, I'll move on to the next question, which is any sickness, so morning sickness, or I guess just generic sickness throughout the pregnancy. Yes, but no. I don't know if this is like morning sickness. I wouldn't class it as morning sickness because, again, from what you hear from people's videos or from what you get taught in school or blah de blah de blah, morning sickness, and I know it can be for people really bad, but for me it wasn't at all. I wasn't sick at all, which I'm so thankful for, because like, I hate being sick. It's one of the worst things. Like, I don't know how people like who become pregnant throw up in the morning, you know, carrying on with their day, going into work. I don't know how they do it, and I couldn't have done it, so props to them. So my sickness wasn't like that. My sickness, every morning in my first trimester, I would wake up and I would be so hungry that I would feel really sick. I would feel, if I don't eat right now, I will throw up. And that's how I felt. Like, it was awful. And that alone, like, I found really difficult, because I don't know, like, I don't tend to eat in the mornings anyway, because I don't have enough time. I mean, I do now. I like make sure I eat all the time in the morning because I have to. Whereas, like, I wasn't used to eating in the morning. So yeah, I didn't have enough time, so I wouldn't eat until I sort of got into work. But because people didn't know I was pregnant, like, it was difficult to sort of like want to eat whatever I want without people sort of thinking, what is up with this girl? Why is she eating loads? And I did tell a couple of people at my work who I'm really close to, and I'm glad that I told them, because they sort of played along with it. But like, I would come into work in the mornings with like sugared ringed donuts from Sainsbury's and sweets, and I would just eat these. Like, I would eat it like literally at 9-10 a.m. in the morning, and they would eat it with me, so it wasn't obvious. So you know you've got friends for life when they do that. But yeah, that was morning sickness for me. Like, if I didn't eat food, I would feel like I couldn't get on with my day. Like, I would feel awful, like awful. But yeah, obviously that's very minor compared to what some people feel. Like I said, luckily there was no throwing up. So I will go on to this question and then follow on with another one. So first off, was I scared to tell my family and friends? Friends, I wasn't scared to tell, because obviously friends are a lot different to your family. Like, you sort of tell your friends anything and they sort of go on a like journey with you. You like, do you know what I mean? Like, you take a test and you're like, oh my fucking god, like, I'm pregnant, like, what the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Like, you sort of confide in them first before you like tell your family. So no, I wasn't scared to tell my friend. But my family, I wasn't scared, but like, I was nervous. Like, I know that none of them would be against it. They will all be supportive of it. I knew that. I knew they'd be excited. But it's more the like, how do I tell them? And obviously being pregnant is an emotional thing. And I've got quite a big family. So telling all of these people, like, obviously doing it on separate occasions, because it was lockdown as well, was so emotionally draining. And it did, to be honest, get to the point at one stage where I just felt unhappy, because I felt like, this pregnancy wasn't a sort of my journey anymore. It wasn't exciting for me, because I felt like I had a chore to do. I felt like I had to tell so many people, and sort of become like, when you say something so many times and it's not exciting anymore. It was like that, and it become like that for me. Now, like, obviously all of that's gone. Like, I'm super excited. I'm happy to talk to anyone about it. But at the time, obviously it's very overwhelming when you've got a lot of people to tell. But yeah, no, I wasn't nervous in telling them at all. Which leads on to the next question, which is like, how did I tell my boyfriend and how did I tell my family? Okay, so first off, obviously would have been my boyfriend. He was with me at the time, not in the toilet, but like he knew that I was taking the test, so it wasn't like a surprise for him. He was aware of what was going on and that I was about to walk in a room with a test. But yeah, we just had a feeling that, well, he didn't, I did. I had a feeling that I was pregnant, but it wasn't abnormal for me to have this feeling because, like I said, I wasn't on contraception, so I had quite irregular periods as well. So every month I would be like, oh my god, I'm not coming on my period, but is it the same as last month where I was like a week or two late? Do you know what I mean? So it was sort of hit or miss, but I don't know, there was just something different, you know, something different. And it does make sense now, because I said to my mum, I said to her, I said, oh, I think I've got a bladder infection. And this was the day before I took the test. I said, I think I've got a bladder infection. And it didn't hurt to go to the toilet, but I was just constantly going to the toilet. And I felt like I constantly needed to go, but there were only small wheeze. But I just thought it's a bladder infection, and I wasn't thinking. And also I felt like my boobs had grown, not significantly, but they were just like a lot, sort of like puffier, if you know what I mean. But then again, you get that when you come on your period. So it was sort of like, am I, aren't I? We'll take a test and find out. But yeah, went into Boots, got the test, came back home, and I'm so impatient. Once I know I've got like the test there, or once I know I need to do something, I just have to do it. I can't wait around, like I need to know. So I went straight into the bathroom, done the test. It makes me laugh because, I don't know, you just don't expect it. And like, obviously there's been times I've checked and I'm like, oh yeah, it's negative, thought so. But like, it makes me laugh because obviously turning the test around and being like, oh my fucking god. So that's sort of how I reacted. So anyway, I came into the bedroom and I basically just chucked the test at him and was like, oh my god, I'm pregnant. And the first test that I'd done had a very faint second line. So my boyfriend was Googling, what does a faint second line mean? Does it mean, you know, you're positive or negative? And obviously it came back saying it's very rare for there to be a faint second line if you're not pregnant. So yeah, I bought some more tests, done them, and obviously here we are. I am actually pregnant with my family. Like I said, I've got a big family, so it was pretty chilled. I didn't do anything big. I just went down, put the pregnancy test in a box for my mum and my stepdad, and I told them, and obviously I cried, but it was like a nervous cry because I was like, oh my god, like, I don't know, it's so surreal. Like, I can't even like describe how surreal it is. And then I can't remember what I done for my dad. I think I literally just said like, oh, by the way, me and my boyfriend are having a baby. And that's pretty much what I done with everyone. Is just told them that me and my boyfriend are expecting a baby. Obviously all of them are excited. And then, like I said, with my mum and stepdad and my boyfriend's mum and family, I put the pregnancy test in a box and we showed them that way. But yeah, it was really nice. I do sort of wish I'd done it in a different way, but it is sort of like, what do I do? Obviously it's very out of the ordinary, so you sort of come up with the quickest thing you can. And it was sort of like, right, I'm ready, I'm going to tell them on the spot. I didn't really plan it through. Okay, so I'm going to try and speed up a little bit because I feel like I'm taking forever to go through everything, but obviously all of this stuff is a lot of details to go into, but I'll sort of go on to the more simpler questions, just to sort of clear some out of the way. But baby kicks, yes, I felt my baby kicks pretty early on. I can't remember whereabouts my placenta is, but this is something I didn't know either. Obviously your placenta can be in different places. If it's in like one place compared to the other, you might not feel kicks until later on than some people would, like some people with the other placenta. But it all depends on whereabouts it's placed. Mine is, I don't even know, I can't remember where mine's placed, but mine is placed in the position which you can feel it sooner, well, feel it at the earliest it's averaged to. So yeah, I felt mine pretty early. I would say I started feeling it, I think maybe around like 17, 18 weeks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's when I sort of felt little kicks. Nothing major. It was more sort of like little bubbly feelings, and then obviously as the baby grew, it sort of got harder and stronger, and then obviously you can start seeing it through your belly, or your partner can then feel the baby kicking. Now he did still kick, but now in the 3rd trimester it's more wriggling and changing positions that I feel than him kicking. So next off, I will say symptom differences in each trimester. I'll answer that one. I've got how I felt in my 1st trimester, 2nd trimester, 3rd trimester, so I'll answer that question as I'm going through that. So someone asked, is pregnancy as magical as people say it is? Like I said earlier on in the video, I think you go through stages, because right now I would say yes, like I have loved being pregnant, even though I am ready for my baby to be here. It definitely is magical. I think the whole concept and the thought of knowing that your baby's in there, you know the gender, you know, picking out the name, buying the clothes, doing their nursery, it is so exciting, and time does really fly by. But then again, there will be times where you are really struggling and you feel like obviously your emotions do get the better of you when you're so hormonal, and you think like, how can I do this? I did have to take a few days working from home with work, because like I said, there was a time where there was about 2 weeks that I just felt so low and everything was going on. Like I had rib pain, and I had a bladder infection, and I just felt so lonely. Even though I had everyone there for me in the world, I just felt like I had nobody at the same time. So yeah, you do go through stages, but I would definitely say it is magical, especially when you create that bond with your baby. It's crazy, like you create this bond and you've not even met them yet. But yeah, so which trimester is the best and worst? Again, I'll go through the trimesters later on in the video and I'll answer that then. So cravings, this will be the last one I answer before I go on to the next part. So any cravings that I've had is, I've not had anything weird. I mean, some people might think it's weird, but like, you know, some people crave soil and stuff like that, whereas I've not had that. I wouldn't say I've had cravings for ice, but I do really like ice, if that makes sense. Like if I put ice in my drink and there's some left over, like I will take it out and I will crunch it, but I've not had a craving for ice. Cravings that I've had, I went through a craving stage for Dairy Dunkers. Don't know why, but like it's like garlic and herb ones, not the breadsticks, the garlic and herb tubes. I had a craving for those at one stage. And I think my biggest craving has probably been milk. I've got a banana milkshake to the right of me right now. But yeah, my biggest craving has been milk. Don't know why. People say that you crave what your body needs. Obviously the baby's taken up any calcium I drink, or well, whatever I drink or eat. I think the baby will take that as well. So I think maybe the calcium, which I do have, he takes, and I don't know, but I have been loving milkshakes, anything like that. I had a thing for spicy crisps at the moment, but I completely went off curry, and I don't know why. I think it was more like the textures and the smell, because your senses heighten when you're pregnant. Like, just the smell was so overpowering for me that it would make me feel sick. And that was in my first trimester when that went. That is all, well, pretty much all of the cravings that I can remember or that specifically stick out to me. But like I said, like, there will be cravings which like come and go, and then once you've had it a couple of times, you sort of get over it and move on to the next thing. But yeah, so I don't keep rambling on, I will move on to my first trimester, second trimester and third trimester of how I felt between all of those. So I'll just get started with that now. So this should be pretty quick to go through because I've got it written all down into bullet points, so I don't need to really go through and explain. But I will just say that the first trimester is between week 1 to the end of week 13. The second trimester is from week 14 to the end of week 27, and the third trimester is week 28, obviously, until week 40 or whenever you give birth. So my first trimester, all of the symptoms or how I felt was, I'm just going to read it straight off. So I had morning sickness / hunger. I think I mentioned that earlier on in this video, that I didn't necessarily have morning sickness, but I would feel so sick because I was so hungry, like I could not go about my day. So I had that, and that lasted up until pretty much week 14, so that went slightly into the second trimester for me. Obviously people say that as soon as you go into your second trimester you feel amazing, and that wasn't the case. And it did worry me because I thought, oh my god, everyone says that, you know, second's supposed to be amazing, it's supposed to be when you sort of glow up and feel good, you get more energy, but it wasn't the case for me at all. I felt awful, and I was still really tired, still felt really sick, and well, basically I still had all of the symptoms which I'm about to tell you now. So bloating and constantly needing to go to the toilet for a wee. So yeah, I had really bad bloating. Obviously I guess it's normal, like your body is starting to make its changes to make room for this baby. So yeah, I had really bad bloating that I did not fit into my jeans pretty much straight away. Like, I had to come out of them and go straight into leggings because jeans were a no. And I hate anything anyway that feels tight on my legs or I feel restricted. So yeah, went straight into leggings, and then I've bought mainly dresses now. And then yeah, the constant urge to go to the toilet. Yeah, I just constantly felt like I needed to go for a wee, and I think that's normal. Obviously at this sort of time it's not because the baby's pushing on your bladder, whereas now it is. Don't know what causes it in your first trimester, but yeah, that was one of my symptoms. Weight gain in my hips. 1 second, I'm gonna need some banana milkshake because I'm telling you, pregnancy, I don't know why it makes you so out of breath. I'm literally just sat here talking, but can't breathe. Okay, so weight gain in the hips. Again, like I said, that sort of ties in with the bloating. I could not fit into my jeans. My hips literally just went burp and popped out, and now I've got stretch marks on my hips, which is completely fine. I don't mind, obviously, stretch marks. They're beautiful. I mean, obviously it's a sign of me growing a baby. To me, it's sort of like a little memory, which I can keep maybe forever, maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, weight gain on my hips, could not get them in my genes. Back pain, which was awful, like next level back pain. I really struggled to, if me and my boyfriend went to go shopping, I really struggled to walk. Like, I would maybe go shopping for about 30 minutes to an hour. I wouldn't be carrying anything heavy, just like normal clothing bags, or not, didn't even have to be carrying anything. And my back would suffer so bad. I don't know what it was. I'm assuming, again, all of the changes to your body, probably all of the hormones, I don't know. But I would be walking around like, oh my God. People are probably thinking, like, obviously you have nothing to show that you're pregnant, so people are probably thinking, like, what is wrong with this girl? But it would hurt so bad. Always being tired. Again, once I come in from the shopping, I would have to have a nap. I feel like you can literally have sensory overload when you're pregnant. If a lot's going on around you, like, it literally just drains the life out of you so quickly. Like, anything that I would do, which would include socializing or like needing to concentrate on things, or just anything where a lot was going on, I would have to nap. My skin got better. Like, I used to suffer really badly with spots. I mean, it's still not the best. Like, I still get like little lumps, but my skin has completely cleared up. Touch wood, it stays like that. But on the other side, my hair, the condition of my hair has become awful. And I do think that's because I didn't know. I got my hair dyed when I was pregnant at the beginning of my pregnancy. I got it dyed and I dyed it myself. And I didn't know the effect of dyeing your hair or doing anything with your hair whilst being pregnant can cause, and that's because no one ever told me. So I thought I would mention it now. I got my hair dyed from my hairdresser, who is lovely, always does my hair really well. Like, it was nothing, that was not the problem. And obviously when I got there and I told her I was pregnant, she did warn me that pregnancy can cause changes to your hair. But I thought it will be fine because, you know, I was still in the first trimester. Like, I hadn't really entered my pregnancy. I just thought that it might be something which come along later on in pregnancy. But when I got my hair done, and about a week later, my hair was so dry, and like, I would have to constantly put hair masks on it. I've had to cut quite a bit off, and like, now when it grows, I just have to keep cutting it because my hair is so dry, and obviously it's just a pregnancy thing. But yeah, it just really dried my hair out and put it in really bad condition, and I felt like my hair rejected the hair colour. So even though I got it dyed, it just sort of disappeared within about a month. So I thought, I had my next appointment already booked, which was for the beginning of this year, which I've now cancelled just because of my hair condition. I don't want it to, you know, go through that again. So once I've given birth, I will treat myself, but for now, obviously, I don't want to do anything else to my hair which might damage it. But yeah, so after that, because it sort of stripped away the colour of my hair, I then dyed it brown with box dye. If my hairdresser is watching this, I'm so sorry. But yeah, so I dyed it brown with box dye because I felt like it needed freshening up. But I just thought, if I just put this box dye on it, cut my hair and don't do anything again until I give birth. And this box dye was coming out of my hair literally for the next 2 weeks. Every shower I had, it would keep rinsing out, and again, like, my hair just completely stripped this colour. and like I've got this hair colour now. This hair colour is what is left over from, you know, the box dye and the hair appointment that I had with my hairdresser. Don't know if you can see on camera, you probably can't, but I've still got some blondie bits through it, which was from my hairdressing appointment. And then the brownie bits, I would assume, I don't know, maybe some of it's my natural colour and some of it's the brown that I put in, but pretty much all of it just stripped out of my hair, which is crazy. Like I said, it was coming out for the next 2 weeks, every shower I had, and it's not like I didn't rinse it properly. Like after my mum box dyed it for me, like we were washing it out probably for about 10 minutes. Usually, you know, it can come out for the next couple of washes, but this was constant. Like I wash my hair every other day, so I probably washed my hair about a good 10 to 12 times. Even had a bath, and like it would come out in the bath and change the colour of my bath. Like it was awful. But like I said, you never get told these things about pregnancy. But yeah, just wish someone told me about that before I was pregnant. So that's a heads up for you all. Okay, so going on to the second trimester, which again I said was week 14 to end of week 27. This 100% was the best trimester for me. Obviously the question which was the most easiest or the best trimester that you had, definitely the second. Obviously everyone says it's the second, and it most certainly is the second. So leg cramps, oh my god, you would wake up in the middle of the night and you would have the worst leg cramps ever. Don't know why. I googled it and I saw it on my app. I don't think there's a reason as to why this happens, it just does. But yeah, you wake up with the worst leg cramps, and yeah, God knows why. Rib pain, and obviously I suffered with a bladder infection. Yeah, I do believe that it was because of pregnancy, because in pregnancy it's a lot more common to get bladder infections than it would be if you weren't pregnant. Definitely got more energy. I didn't really get tired at all, didn't need to nap, felt like I could do anything. I could have ran a marathon. I definitely couldn't have, but you know, compared to the first trimester, I definitely could have ran a marathon. So I was emotional but not moody. My boyfriend might say different, even though I completely disagree. If anything, I would say I've been a lot more chilled and relaxed than what I would be. I think obviously with my boyfriend, because I'm with him every single day, he might feel like sometimes I'm a bit snappy. But yeah, I would say that I'm a lot more chilled than what I was before pre-pregnancy, which is a bit strange because you would think all of the extra hormones, like I would be psycho, but I was not. Like I was good, I was loving life. But yeah, saying that, I was a lot more emotional. It did get to that stage, which I told you about, that for 2 weeks I just felt awful, couldn't stop crying. Like I literally was just, I don't know, it was horrible. But I think everyone will probably go through that stage. I don't know, it's normal, I guess. Obviously there's so many changes going on, like you're going to feel overwhelmed in some stages, and that's completely fine. And the last thing, I couldn't think of much for my second trimester because like I said, it was pretty smooth sailing, but major baby brain. Like, oh my god, my baby brain was awful, and it still is really bad. But it was so bad that I just couldn't remember how to drive my car. Like, that's so bad, but I couldn't remember how to drive my car. And things just wouldn't process through my brain. Like they wouldn't, God knows why, but they just would not process through my brain. But yeah, like, there was me and my friend, who I also work with. We went to go get ourselves some lunch, and I've got an automatic car, and I went to go reverse back into my space, and I was like, why is it not reversing? And I literally looked down at the, like, obviously the gears, the reverse, drive, neutral part, looked down at that, looked at the handbrake, and I was like, and I said to her, I was like, everything's normal. I was like, why can I not reverse? And I looked back down again and I had it, what did I have it in? I had it in park. And so obviously my car weren't moving and it was just revving. And I was like, oh my gosh. Obviously put it in reverse and reversed in. I was like, oh my God, like how did I not know that? And like, why did I put it in park? And then it happened again when I was at the petrol station with my boyfriend. And instead of putting it in drive, I put it in reverse. And yeah, thankfully, obviously, I haven't caused any damage to anyone. And that's been the only times. But like, I feel like I just really have to think about things before I do it. But moving on to the third trimester, which again is week 28 to when you give birth. So that's the current trimester I'm in now. To be honest, I would say it's not been too bad. I think I've been very, very lucky with my third trimester. I was again a little bit nervous because I was like, oh, here we go again, back into like the first trimester. Obviously people say that the second's the best, so I was a little bit worried for the third. But it's been very good considering, touch wood again. The only things which I have suffered with is a shortness of breath, which you could probably tell. But I think that's just because obviously you've got a heavy baby inside of your stomach. So when I'm talking and rambling or going up and down the stairs and I'm like, oh my God, but it's not too bad. Back pain, obviously my back pain's come back. I didn't have it in the second trimester. First trimester, obviously I had it really bad, but yeah, it's definitely come back now. And that's because the baby will be digging in. And is a lot heavier than what he was in the first trimester. So yeah, my back pain is really bad, like trying to turn over in bed, like it's awful. I have to get my boyfriend to push, like pull or roll me out of bed. It's so bad. But yeah, I honestly feel like, I don't know, roly-poly, like that's how I feel. Less energy. I don't get tired and I don't need to nap, but I definitely do. Oh, that's a lie actually. I don't need to nap like the first trimester. The first trimester was awful with that. But I do get a lot more tired again when there's a lot going on. Obviously, again, you have a sensory overload and it just drains you and you need to be by yourself. And yeah, I have definitely been feeling like that again, but it's nothing too bad. I would definitely say the first trimester is the worst. Third of all, headache / blurry vision. Yeah, I've been getting headaches and blurred vision. I think that's because I work on computers, which probably doesn't help. But yeah, I have been suffering with that and I mentioned it to the midwife and she said that's completely fine. I just had a low blood pressure, which is nothing bad. It's more of a high blood pressure, which you should worry about, or like they would be more concerned about. Which obviously I don't have, so that's completely fine. So yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything which was asked. Well, I know that there's some questions on there which I didn't answer, but I feel like I rambled on too much. So if there is anything else that you want me to talk about, then please comment down below or message me and I'll be more than happy to answer. But yeah, so exciting. I've only got 6.5 weeks left, like I said. So time is going to fly by, but I am so ready. I think I've got the majority of the stuff done that I needed to pretty earlier on because I don't want to sort of feel like I'm rushing around or feel like, you know, with my back hurting, like I don't want to be doing things last minute and be struggling, or I don't want to be relying on other people. So I am pretty much ready. I do just need to pack my hospital bag. So if you want me to do a video on what is in my hospital bag, what is in the baby's bag, then I'm more than happy to do that because I think I will be doing that this weekend. So I can film it, you know, whilst I'm going through it. So if that's something that you'll be interested in, then definitely let me know. But yeah, any questions, do let me know, and thank you for watching.